Screw it, I've called her favorite fancy restaurant and made a reservation for our 3-year anniversary, which is tonight. I'm going to tell her I love her at dessert. Edit, it's now the next day and I told her I loved her last night. It was so hectic. So we got to the restaurant pretty early, but luckily they had a table ready. She ordered wine, we made small talk for a while, but it seemed forced and I knew that I had to tell her soon. So, before the entrees even came, I said that I had something to talk to her about. She didn't smile and told me that she knew, her brother Joe told her, and my goddamn heart almost stopped. I hurriedly told her that I was so sorry, I didn't want her to find out that way, I wanted to tell her myself. She shook her head, frowned and said that it was okay, she just wanted me to be happy and that I deserved it. I told her that I didn't want to stress her out or make her uncomfortable, but I just needed to tell her and see how she felt, and that it was completely up to her. She gave me a look and said that it actually was up to me, and just to do what made me happy. She said that she was probably going to move out after her program ended, and promised to stay out of the way until then. It was then that I realized something was a bit off, and asked what Joe had told her. She said that he told her I wanted to take her out to dinner to tell her that I had started developing feelings for a girl, and wanted to ask Cass if it would be okay if I asked this girl out. It was then I realized that Joe had set me up for the most climactic pickup line ever to exist. Our entrees came and I explained that, yes, I had started developing feelings for a girl, I just didn't want it to mess up what we had. She said that it wouldn't mess anything up, she still loved the boys and would take care of them in the house. I continued to then explain that I wasn't going to ask the girl on a date though, and she asked incredulously, why not? Then I dropped my smoothest line I've ever dropped. Because I'm already on a date with her. She gave me this look, then she looked away, smiled and shook her head and asked really? I nodded and told her that I cared about her more than anybody else, that I loved our family, and that I had fallen in love with her. She then took a drink of wine, rolled her eyes and said about effing time. And I'll never forget what happened next. Maybe it was a faux pas, but I leaned across the table and kissed her. Spilling her wine. But neither of us cared and we kissed for about a minute, before she told me to get off her before her crab legs got cold. After leaving the restaurant we got ice cream and sat around and kissed some more before heading home. Joe was sitting on our couch watching one of those VH1 dating shows with a poop-eating grin on his face, and Cass ran in, screaming at him that he ruined everything and that she was going to have to move in with mom now. We let him believe it for about 5 seconds before bursting into laughter. He shook my hand and told me that the boys were sleeping and left. I picked Cass up and kissed her and carried her to my room where we made out for like 2 hours and snuggled the crap out of each other. She isn't ready for anything else, but emphasized yet. I'll give her all the time in the world. At one point the youngest son came in because of a nightmare, and brought his dog and claimed that the doggy was scared so we let him in. I woke up early to make everyone breakfast and am about to go and kiss my wife goodbye, and ask my boss for the second part of the day off so that I can spend more time with her while the boys are at school. Things were going so well until last night. I came home and Cass was very drunk. Dinner was burnt in the oven and she was still drinking. I asked her what was wrong as obviously I was concerned, and she told me that her ex-boyfriend got parole last week. I was flabbergasted, since she should have been able to testify at his parole hearing. Apparently, the crime that he was incarcerated for was unrelated to the abuse he put her through, but Cass had been assured it would put him away for a decade at least and had been far too afraid to testify against him or press charges. The things he put her through are really horrible. I don't know what to do, I don't think that we have any legal ways to put him back into prison. She knows that she should have gone to the police and is guilt-ridden and upset about it now. I know that she's going to be safe, because if he tries to even contact her, I'll take a legal recourse of action to make sure that he doesn't so much as touch her. Edit, her ex found us and knocked on our door. I remember that night like it was 5 minutes ago. Somebody rang our doorbell and the oldest son answered as we were all in the living room. The man standing there asked for Cass. Cass told the boys to go upstairs and gave me a look and I knew. But she didn't look scared. The jerk apologized and begged for forgiveness and asked for a second chance. She was so brave. I wanted to unalive him but she told him no and asked him to leave. He did, and he tried to contact her a few more times, using more extreme methods, before we got an order of protection against him. Last I heard he moved upstate to live with his dad or something. Around this time Cass' brother Joe also got into a really bad car accident and ended up having to move in with us for a while. He's a great guy and one of my best friends, so we didn't mind, but it was a stressful time.